This video is going to tell you everything that you need to know about leaky gut syndrome and how you can heal your leaky gut. Hey friends, welcome back to Let's Talk Health. And if you are new here, welcome to our gut health community. I'm Amanda, I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I love talking about gut health. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about leaky gut syndrome. So I'll be telling you what leaky gut syndrome is, what are the causes of leaky gut syndrome, and then how you can heal your leaky gut. So let's jump right into the video. Okay, so what is leaky gut syndrome? So leaky gut syndrome is also known as intestinal permeability. So this is a condition that affects the lining of your intestines. So in the intestine, we have these cells and we have these tight junctions. So what is supposed to happen is the junctions are supposed to be tight together, so that will prevent large particles and toxins and bacteria from coming through the intestines and then going into the bloodstream. So in leaky gut syndrome, those tight junctions are not working properly, resulting in small gaps, and then that allows the bacteria, food, other pathogens to pass through and go into the bloodstream. So when this happens, you're left with a variety of different symptoms, including gut symptoms like chronic constipation, diarrhea, or bloating. And then you can also experience symptoms that are elsewhere in the body. So this can include being fatigued, so feeling very tired. It can also show up in headaches, brain fog, difficulty concentrating. So this is a common one that a lot of people say that they have poor concentration, difficulty remembering things, or difficulty focusing on a task. And then there can also be skin conditions. So that can be acne, eczema, or rashes. So there is a big connection with the gut and the skin. So a lot of times if something's going on in the gut, if there's something wrong, it will then show up in the skin and present itself in different skin conditions. And then another symptom is joint pain. So either having swollen joints or feeling pain in different joints in the body. So now with all that being said, there's something to know about leaky gut syndrome. It's not actually an official diagnosis. So there's usually an underlying root cause that leads to leaky gut syndrome and those symptoms that I mentioned. So now let's talk about some of the underlying root causes of leaky gut syndrome. So I'm going to break these causes down into 4 groups. We have toxins, infections, stress, and autoimmune conditions. So let's start with the first one. The first root cause is toxins. So this can include alcohol, antibiotics, and also painkiller medications called NSAIDs. And then there are many other toxins that are in our environment. It's very hard for us to completely avoid toxins. So what I'm going to be talking about today is avoiding chronic use of some of those toxins that I mentioned. So we have alcohol, antibiotics, and NSAIDs. So these are your painkillers such as Advil. So when we use these chronically, they can affect the gut lining, which has then an impact on your gut microbiome. So that's your good gut bacteria. And then if we don't have enough beneficial bacteria in our gut, that can lead us to being more susceptible to certain infections. And then there's also the impact that these medications and substances can have on the gut lining. They can cause some inflammation, which then can show up in pain, bloating, and other symptoms. So you'll want to assess how much are you using these substances and how are they impacting your gut. Root cause number 2 are infections. So this can include yeast infections like Candida. So Candida is a yeast. It can overgrow in the gut. This can also include parasite infections or also bacterial infections such as a overgrowth of bacteria or H. pylori bacteria. So these pathogens such as the yeast, bacteria, and parasites can create something called dysbiosis, which is an imbalance in your microbiome. So you have an imbalance of the bad pathogens to your good gut bacteria. And then that can show up in many different symptoms, as we mentioned. Root cause number 3 is chronic stress. So we all experience stress, but it's when there's prolonged stress that this can have an impact on your gut health. Prolonged exposure to stress can weaken your body's immune system, which then can inhibit your ability of fighting off infections and viruses, and then that can lead to inflammation and leaky gut symptoms. There's also a big connection with the gut and the mind. So when I talk about the ways that you can help to heal your leaky gut, I'll talk about that gut-mind connection and what you can do. So root cause number 4 is autoimmune conditions. So this includes celiac disease and inflammatory bowel disease. So in celiac disease, you have an autoimmune reaction to gluten. So gluten is the protein in wheat, so you're not able to eat wheat. And then inflammatory bowel disease includes Crohn's and colitis, and those are both inflammatory conditions of the gut. So in these conditions, a lot of the symptoms overlap with what looks like leaky gut syndrome. And in order to help heal the gut, you need to work on reducing inflammation. So with that being said, let's go into part 3, where we're going to talk about how you can heal your leaky gut. So there are many different things that you can do to help improve your gut health. But first and foremost, we are going to talk about diet, because diet is always the foundation of good gut health. So let's talk about 2 things. Let's talk about what you can eliminate from your diet and then what you can add into your diet. So for elimination, you can do this a few ways. One, you can do an elimination diet. That way you can figure out what are your personal food triggers. I have a video that talks about how to do an elimination diet, so I will leave that link below and also leave it tagged on screen. There are some common food triggers that can irritate the gut, so let's talk about some of those. So one is processed food and processed sugar. So bacteria and yeast can actually feed off of sugar. So if your leaky gut syndrome is due to a bacterial or yeast overgrowth, then you'll want to avoid excess sugar in your diet. Even if you don't have a bacterial or yeast overgrowth, sugar can be inflammatory if you have it in excess amounts, especially if you're getting it from processed and packaged food. So then instead of having processed food, which can also include a lot of greasy and fried food, you'll want to focus on having a whole foods diet. So this will include a lot of fruits and vegetables, and fruits and vegetables are great because they have something called antioxidants. Antioxidants help to reduce inflammation in the body, and they help your body fight off oxidative stress. So some fruits that are high in antioxidants are berries, so blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. And then some vegetables would be like any of your leafy green vegetables, broccoli, kale, cabbage, spinach. These vegetables are also great for supporting your microbiome. The second thing we're going to talk about is herbs. So herbs are plants and they have many healing properties. I'm going to list a few of them that are great for helping with your gut health. So the first one is marshmallow root. So marshmallow root is a very soothing herb. It can help to reduce pain and inflammation in the gut. So the best way to consume marshmallow root would be in a tea. So you can find this at your health food store in the tea section. You'll either find it in bags or as a loose leaf tea. The second herb is fennel. So fennel is great for helping to support the gut lining and helping to reduce bloating and gas. So if you experience a lot of bloating and gas, then fennel can be a great herb for you. And then another great herb is ginger. So ginger has anti-inflammatory properties, so it's great for helping to reduce inflammation, cramps, and pain in the gut. Ginger can be found in different forms, so you can have it as a tea or you can also have it in capsules, which is pretty convenient and it's easy to take. The next category is working on mindfulness. So this is going back to that gut-mind connection that I talked about before. When we experience stress, it does have a big impact on our gut. So working on incorporating some sort of mindful practice into your daily routine can be very beneficial. So this can include things like journaling, going for a walk, doing some meditation, or even just doing some deep breathing practices. Find something that you enjoy and give it a try. Okay, and then the last thing are probiotics. So probiotics contain beneficial bacteria, which is great for helping to support your microbiome. There are many different types of probiotics out there. So generally when I say for probiotics, getting a good multi-strain, so that is something that has a variety of different bacteria. This can include lactobacillus or bifidobacterium. You want to look for something that has at least about 10 billion colony-forming units. Depending on how much your body can tolerate, you can increase that dose as well. There is one specific strain that's called S. boulardii. This strain is great for helping to improve the immune system and the integrity of your gut. And it's also great for helping with diarrhea or if you had an infection such as candida or a bacterial infection. So just a tip when working on your gut healing journey, it's best to start with your diet. As I mentioned, that's the foundation of good gut health. And then choose one of the other things that you think would be easy to add into your routine before worrying about trying to cover all your bases. Once you get a hang of one or two of those treatment options, you can look at exploring some other options. All right, so that's everything that you need to know about leaky gut. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our gut health community here. I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.